Okay. Okay, we're talking about something. We're looking for something. Some moment, something that when it happened, it just about roasted your boat. But you can now look back in levity. It has become funny. And it doesn't have to be about death or anything, but it would be interesting if it had that same kind of feeling, that same kind of mystery, that feeling of permanent change, of one day this, the next day that. Okay? Okay. So this is Barbara.
Barbara?
Barbara
Miss
story.
Barbara? Are we on?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess we've been on the whole time.
Yeah, yeah, it's okay. Yeah.
Since I pressed the button. That's right.
Do you feel that the door closed? Like there's no going back.
You don't know me very well, and I'm not really this pathetic anymore, you know? It is kind of a pathetic story.
It is. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm starting my story. I'm drawing a blank now. Okay, when I was a little kid, I used to be made fun of something awful. And I mean really awful. And I was like real sickly, and I was born with a lot of birth defects. And I remember like we'd try to play bombardment and stuff, and my ankles would start to hurt, and I'd have to sit out, and you know I was just like, I just felt this wimpy little kid. I had this really, really mean gym teacher, and she used to love to make fun of me in front of the class. She would stop the class and have everybody watch me. She'd say, Barbara Stern, please come up and try to do the, and you know, okay. And so then she started calling me Jimmy Jets. This was supposed to be funny because I was so slow. So she called me Jimmy Jets. I'm just going to start crying. And it's like, oh, poor Miss Barbara.
And she'd call you this in front of the whole class.
Yes, she'd say this in front of the whole class. And aside from that, I was very sick and I missed a lot of school and stuff. So we were doing track tryouts. And they made everybody in the class try out for track. Even slow people like me. And we were doing the 50-yard dash. So everybody would have to do it like against one other person, and then the two best would race against another person and stuff. She pairs me up one of the two fastest runners in the class. And I was like, I have to do this. I have to do this. All I need is one really big burst of energy. I'm going to beat her. And I got up there, and I was also very non-competitive, and I would, so I get up there, and I'm like, okay. And I'm waiting for her to, like, with her hand give the go signal, and I see everyone on the side, and they're all sitting there, like, like the turtle and the hare are going to go up next. And I took off like a shot. It was like at one point I was doing it like, I could like feel the G-force in my cheeks, and I couldn't believe it, and I was scared to look at people because I was afraid it was gonna like break my concentration and slow me down. But at one point, like I just like a little bit, and I just saw people's faces. They were like, they couldn't believe what was happening, and I beat her. And that was like the one fast thing I was ever able to do in my whole entire life. I've never been able to be fast after that. I've never cared to be fast after that. It was like it satisfied me for the rest of my life. And that was it.
But you can laugh about it now.
I can laugh at it now. It's like a little twitch here and there.
You know, I was trying to remember what I was wearing, and my husband was giving me a hard time about it because he's saying, "Oh, I bet you were wearing something red," which I'm sure I was. Red was my favorite color. I was coming from the tavern on the corner of Milwaukee and Pulaski, and I know we closed the bar. And I was walking down this very familiar residential street. I mean, I grew up in this neighborhood. I went to church that it was on the corner. And so I felt very comfortable. And I had on these shoes that were so it at the time. They were called candies. They're high heels, like Barbie doll shoes. They had,
Kind of deformed your foot.
oh yeah, they were hard plastic, just like the Barbie doll. I mean, that's why Barbie has that foot like that, you know, because that's the only way you can wear those things. But and I was having a little difficulty walking in high heels as it was. So I took them off. And I started walking home in my stockinged feet with my shoes hooked onto my 2 fingers. And so anyway, I'm walking along the street and I see this young guy. And I remember thinking when I saw him, oh, isn't it nice there'd be some young man there that would help me in case I needed come to my rescue. Which when you think about that, isn't it an odd thing? And when I say man, you know, at the time I was only 21 and I could swear he was younger than I was. So I really did not feel threatened by him in any way. I allowed him to pass me. And all of a sudden he comes up from behind me and he grabs at the shoes that I had in my hand and he says, "I want your shoes." And I remember going, "What?" And I pulled back on him like, "You can't have my shoes, you silly boy. What are you talking about?" And I pulled back on him and he yanked them again really hard. Said, "I want your shoes." Now when he yanked the second time, I was also wearing a clutch purse, which is a big thing then too. And it fell to the ground. And I remember thinking, this was a ploy to distract me from my purse. Of course, I focused all my energies on the purse. I had let go of the shoes and went for the purse. And when I come back up with the purse in my hand, I see him running down the street with my shoes, and I'm thinking to myself, holy shit, he really did want my shoes. He didn't want my purse, he took my shoes. So I started yelling at him as he's running down the street. I said, "You are a pervert. What's wrong with you? You really are a pervert." And I realized that as I'm yelling, he gets to the corner and he turns around. And it was almost like slow motion, Susan. I mean, he was just trotting back like he had all the time in the world. And I remember standing there. And if you can imagine, I never once moved from the spot. I do remember thinking, he's going to come and show me what a real pervert he is. Now I've challenged his perverseness. And he comes back to me and he stops, he kneels down on the ground and he says, "I want your stockings too." And I thought to myself, okay, whatever. I thought, and he starts ripping off my nylons off the one leg. And then I remember again the surge of anger. And I grabbed the back of his head by the hair. He started shaking it back and forth, just like he was one of my little brothers, you know, going, "What the hell's wrong with you? Why do you want my shoes? Why do you want my stockings too?" I remember though, when I grabbed him by the back of the head and I'm yelling at him like he's my little brother, he just never responded to that at all. And then that's when I started going, I don't know how far I want to push this one. You know, because all of a sudden I was realizing when he didn't even respond to me doing that, it was like he was stone-faced into what he was doing. I thought, okay. So then,
Here's my stockings.
Well, exactly. Then I went, So when he goes for the next one, I'm like holding up my leg like this. Like, here you go. Help yourself. And he took my stockings and he ran off again. And then this is the pièce de résistance. Okay, so now I'm like, okay, I guess I better go home now. You know?
Yeah.
What do? Instead of like walking towards Addison, which is the busy street, you know, where I had come from, I keep walking in the same direction this guy had left. And at the end of the block that I'm walking in, there was a corner house, had these corner hedges that were like 7 feet tall. And didn't I see Halloween? Why did I do that? Don't go there. I remember thinking later, I thought, if I had seen me on TV, on the screen, I'd be going, oh, why do they always pick these stupid, dumb blondes to play these parts? I'd never do that. And here I did exactly what I thought I was, what you would think would be the stupidest thing. No, thank God. I mean, can you imagine? But yeah, later I thought, boy, that wasn't very smart.
Oh my God.
And I was fine until I got home. Then I started realizing once somebody answered the door and I was safe at home, I started realizing how scary this was. And I got hysterical trying to tell them. I mean, I couldn't even blurt it out. I'm like, oh, my shoes, pointing to my bare feet, I got over the hysterical part pretty quickly. I mean, once I got my little hugs, everything's okay, you're okay. Once then I was fine. And I didn't, I don't feel that I ever had any victim fear, like being afraid to ever go out by myself again or anything like that. And I have no idea why that's true about me. I don't know why. I guess I have more faith in other humans. I probably started telling the story right away. Because it's a good story. I can't help it. I have to tell the story. But,
Laugh at it.
yes. Yeah, laugh with me about it,
The day began like someone's good idea. Like God got a good idea. Like a light bulb going off. Like that. Oh, and the sun extending itself across the earth was like holding my hand on the way to my car. It was such kind escort. I would be the most ungrateful of louses not to go to work today. I was driving, approaching a stoplight, and going because we have all agreed that green means go. When I see a truck ripping through the intersection right in front of me, and I had this feeling. I had this feeling that even while I'm driving with my foot still on the gas pedal, and I'm still only just thinking about the brake, that I was completely willing to keep going and drive right into that truck, obliterating my car, means of livelihood, possibly health and life, all for the satisfaction of being right. As I broke, hit the horn, and skidded to a stop, I knew that I was only a baby survival step away from proving my point. The man in the truck slowed down long enough so I could see him laughing. Of course, the highly original eloquence of his middle finger. My hands were shaking. I had to pull over to the side of the street. And breathe. Just breathe. It is good to know that I was capable and willing to stop. It is good to stop. Bonus points for stopping. And I can laugh about it now.
So, but I had written these couple lines about maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And it was, because of this fear, and I just felt paralyzed by it. And I remember writing one time, I want to walk past the dogs and breathe at the same time. Then I will live all of my life. And, but I've been avoiding the situation, and I know you got to get out there and start doing something, to get closer to them and, just to be able to, face my fear. It was a hot summer day, and the kids wanted to go, of course, swimming and going, they just want to go places, they're kids, let's go do something. Okay, so I said, well, let's go to the zoo. We can go to the beach and we can go to the zoo. It was hot and it'll be a good day for the beach. And every time I think of going to the beach, I think of dogs, because that's where they are. They're all at the beach. But, I had to pray about it all the way in the car. Please, just let me be okay. Just don't let the dogs get me. So we're getting out of the car, and we're getting out the sand pails and the towels and the, the blankets and some lunch that we brought. And, the kids are all carrying their little buckets and stuff, and we're getting ready to go to the beach. And as soon as we get out of the car now, I know I have to look over by the lagoon, because that's where dogs are. People walk their dogs along there, and they don't have them on leashes half the time. And so I looked over there, and there was a German Shepherd that was running around, not on a leash, and a Rottweiler. So we had walked about, maybe 10 or 20 feet, and I looked at the kids, and I just said, I got a really great idea. You know what we could do? Why don't we go to the zoo first, and then we can go to Portage Park Outdoor Pool. And they're like, nah, we want to go to the beach. I was like, oh no. The kids were not going to buy it, and I knew they weren't going to buy it. And you know how it is when you got kids and they're going to the beach, and we're walking to the beach, and I felt insane saying that to them. I just felt insane. But I had to say it anyhow. I had to try. So I'm like, okay, the dogs, we'll just walk really slow. We're walking slow because we were going to let the dogs get ahead of us.
Right.
Yeah. Of course, the kids didn't know what I was up to. They're just kids. They're going to the beach. So we're walking very slow. And they were walking very slow too, they were just like taking their time. And, I saw some people kind of moving toward the bridge. And I thought, well, I'm going to get in with that group of people. because then I can have that anonymity that comes with being in a crowd. We're walking toward the bridge, and there's a water fountain by the bridge, and I'm trying to let them get ahead of us, and they're up by the bridge. Well, they stop by the water fountain, and they start talking with some people, and they're not going anywhere. They're just going to stand there by the water fountain. Yeah, there were 2 people, and then there was 2 dogs, and the Rottweiler. Really, the German Shepherd off the leash was not a problem for me, and the Rottweiler on the leash, that was the problem. So we're walking up toward there, and we're getting about 20 feet, within 20 feet of the water fountain, and the kids are, well, I want to get a drink of water, I'm thirsty. Oh, I just, I said, okay, go ahead. And I stood where I was, and I waited. Dogs aren't going to get the kids. The dogs are only going to get me. I'm the target they're after. And it's an irrational fear. The dog was on a leash, but I couldn't go near it. We're walking, as far away as we can, but trying to be kind of nonchalant and cool, like I'm just taking my kids to the beach, that's all. Nothing more. There's nothing going on here, okay? Just mind your own business, everybody. So I tried to get it within a group of people, thinking, just get myself surrounded. I got the kids one on each side.
And they couldn't smell you out either.
Right, because the dogs will smell me out. They always, they always have in my dreams, in my nightmares about this. And we're walking just a little bit, a few steps across the bridge, and of course I have to kind of check my rear. I turn around, and they're going to cross the bridge now.
The dogs behind.
Yes. The people with the dogs are coming across the bridge now. Now they decide to come across the bridge, okay? They were standing there at the water fountain for what? 10 minutes? I gave them, a good head start. I got 1 kid on each side. And the dog's right behind me. So I'm walking across this long bridge. And it's the longest bridge I've ever seen in my life. It went on and on and on. And every time I turn around, the dog's there. It's on a leash. I turn around. I'm like, okay, it's within 5 feet. It's within 5 feet of me. Just keep walking forward. Don't look. Don't even look behind you. Just keep walking. Hold on to the kids. You'll be okay. I turn around and it's 2.5 feet behind me. I'm thinking, walk faster, walk faster. Okay, so we're walking faster. Come on, kids, hurry up. Walking faster. Okay, so we're going to try to lose them, right? Somebody, will come between us, Maybe somebody will get between us. It's crowded on the bridge, I turn around and it's right behind me. All the way across the bridge. All the way across the bridge. I held on so tight to the kids. We walked across the bridge, and it took us so long to get across. The dog would be like 2.5 feet, then it would drop back to 5 feet. And I'd think, maybe if I just slow down a little bit, they'll go around us, and they'll just go around us. They'll have to. No, they're right behind me all the way across the bridge. What could I do? I had to cross the bridge. Well, we got across the bridge somehow. Me and the kids. One on each side. We got across the bridge. We went to the beach. We found a nice spot right up by the beach. I looked around. I don't see any dogs. Put the blanket down, sat down. The kids are playing in the sand in the sun, and I was just looking out at the lake and, just kind of relaxing a little bit. And I sat down and I looked out, and you could see the sun over the lake. And I started to relax a little bit, And then I realized, it just kind of came to me that was a gift from God. That I made it over that bridge with that dog right behind me. And of course, anybody that's got a real fear, you don't want to face it. It's work. It's very hard work. And, to be looking at dogs, and putting myself in a position where I'm in the same place where a dog could be, one of these kind of dogs anyhow. I'm talking about the attack dogs. I won't do it willingly. I will not do it on purpose. I will. So God has to put these situations in my life in order to help me face it, because I won't face it on my own. And I would never have chosen that. I would never have chosen that.
That's an understatement.
But I did it. I did it. And I made it across the bridge.
Good story.
Did you find yourself like scanning the beach off, or could you just?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Always scanning the
Scanning,
beach,
always.
looking for more gifts.
Okay, go. But you can laugh about it now.
Yeah, I could laugh about it now in the kitchen. Yep, we're safe now. We're safe now. Until the next time.
Funny.
What's your story?
Yeah, you've got to have a story.
Oh well, that's another day. Oh wow.
But you can laugh about it
I
now.
can laugh about it. There was one quick one. Because you all know Boris died. My cat Boris died.
Yeah.
It was very heartbreaking. Tears rolled for many days. It's like, and like when the cat dies, you can't always control when it starts to come out, or
Right.
anybody. It's like when grief
Right.
happens. So I'm working at Northern Trust at the time, which is like all these stockbrokers. So here I am, the day after, a couple days after, the day after, at my desk, doing my Northern Trust stuff, doing my stockbroking stuff, and I just start weeping. Tears just start rolling down my face, and just like, and I'm still working though. I'm still working, and the tears are rolling down my face. And the thing that looking back on it that was so funny is that here I am doing this grief, and no one said a word.
Whoa.
Everyone walking around me. To be like, I'm here,
Real
you
corporate.
guys this close to me, and you have to come this close to me, right? And I'm like, weeping. You see the physical evidence, and I'm like, and I'm trying to like whatever, not like, just trying to, and give me a folder. Pretend I'm weeping, right? That's how close. They come up that close, and it's
They
like,
wouldn't say anything.
and they wouldn't say a word.
That's
It was
really
freaky,
weird.
but looking
really
back
weird.
on it is very funny because it gives you the picture.
It does give you the
It gives you
picture.
the picture.
That one makes me cry. It's a cowboy song.
Oh, it's been a long time.
Oh yeah. Oh, lonesome.